pyramid, uh, which is called the layers of testing also. So these are the layers and these are the levels. So we have been discussed in detail in the methodologies. We do have three types of methodologies. One is white box, one is black box, and one is gray box. So what do you mean by white box, black box, and the gray box testing? So we have been discussed in detail about it. And next we have been discussed about the levels of testing. So now as part of the levels of testing, so first we have been discussed about unit level, module level, or the component level, and we have been discussed about the integration or in the integration level, and then we have been discussed about the system level and the user acceptance level. So this is what we have been discussed as part of this one. And here we have been discussed, hey, what is the objective of this one, and what is the role, who are the roles you will be doing it, and then what are the different type of testings which we have been performing on this particular levels of testing. So this will gives us the complete information about the table. So we have gone through that one. So now this levels of testing will gives us the information where to test. Hey, what are the means in which areas which I need to go and test that particular thing. So with appropriate examples, we have been gone through this particular testing levels. And next one, the most important thing which we have been landed up is into so that is what the pyramid talks about. So in the testing pyramid, so we have been taken up. So we have been taken up the testing pyramid, and in this particular pyramid, so we have been started to talk about. I just drawn that day the diagram. What are the different categories of things would be there. So now here we will be having units, and you will be having the backend or the APIs which you will be having it, and you will be having the UI. So where it is web and the mobile, and here we will be having ETL or DB, and we will be having the performance, and then on the top we will be having the security testing. So this is where we have been quickly discussed on that particular a day, and then even we just started with the units. Hey, this is a unit layer. When we have this particular unit layer, so who are the people who will be doing it? So if you see here, this is the layer, and uh, on this particular layer, so what is who will be testing this one? So even the role, and here we will be discussing that the objective or the purpose, and the next one is the different type of testings which we wanted to do it. Okay, so these are the things which we wanted to discuss on this one. So on this one, so we have been discussed about the units. So who will be performing the unit testing?
Developers.
Developer. So now here, this is a unit layer. So the dev team will be taking care on this one. And what would be the objective and the purpose of this one? See, as we said that, hey, if you've given me a particular application, so now this particular application need to be tested across the 360 degrees. Means when we have an application, so the application need to be tested the 360 degrees of that particular application. Means you give any application. Now we do have different type of applications. What are the different type of applications we have?
One tier architecture, two tier architecture,
Yes.
mobile application.
So now we do have 5 categories of applications. Now that's a standalone or desktop application, or one-tier applications, client server applications, web applications. You take any particular category of application. So now if you wanted to test that particular application, so what are the things which we need to test it? So these are all things which you need to test it. So this means when you say that, means if you say that, hey boss, I tested only units, then these are the things which it is not tested. So when you say that, if you say that, hey, 99.9999 percentage, the application is tested thoroughly without having any issues, means then you need to test it with the units and the backend or the APIs and the UI layer and the DB layer and the performance layer and the security layer. If you test the application in all these particular layers, then only you can say that, hey, I have been completely tested the application. Or you need to specify that one, hey, I just completed this particular backend testing or UI testing. Example, now when you wanted to send a car out of your manufacturing company, you will say that, hey, I tested engine is working fine. Will the car is ready to come out? You need to
No,
test the complete frame of the vehicle, and you need to test the interiors, and you need to test means, the safety of the car vehicle, because when you hit with a vehicle with a certain velocity, all the airbags need to be open, because that's the most important thing, right? So if you tested only engine, can you say that, hey, car is completely tested and then it can be released into the market? So always you remember that. Now, when you are trying to test a software application of a different category, so now that particular application need to be tested in this one. I don't know how many people were experienced here. So always you remember that. So this is talks about the test coverage. I'll not get into this particular term now because it might lead the confusion for others. But still, always you remember that this is a bigger debatable point. If someone asked you, "Hey boss, how much you test your application?" How we can derive this one? So there is a matrix called RTM, requirement traceability matrix. This is one of the topic which we will be having in our course content. But however, that we will see it later. So when we're talking about the requirement traceability matrix, there we will talk more about the test coverage. But here the point which you need to understand is, hey, if at all, if I have an application, what are the things I need to test it, or what are the things, the major things which I needed to have it? Example, I'm going for a tour. What are the basic things I need to look for? Hey, I need to look for hotels, I need to look for cab, I need to look for my flight tickets, and I need to look for my luggage. So if I'm going for some cold places, then I need to take my jackets, rugs, and everything. And if I'm going for any beach places, then I need to wear my summer wears and then my beach wears. So now this we will plan accordingly, right? So now the same way, when there is an application which I need to be tested, so these are the things, the basic things which you need to keep into your mind. Hey, in these are the layers which I need to test it, and each layer how I need to test it. So that is what you talk in the levels of testing. See, now once after completion of this particular pyramid, I'll try to contrast, or I'll try to connect these particular dots. So now here we have this particular levels, right? Unit level, module level or component level, and integration level, system level, and then user acceptance level. So these are the levels which we have been already discussed, right? Now, how these levels would be part of this particular thing, so that we will discuss as part of this one. Okay, so now first let me complete the testing pyramid, and then we can do this one. Why I should know this? What is the purpose of this learning this one, Chris? But you asked me to test a thing. Yesterday I write my test cases. I just went for home page, enter username, enter password, go to the home page, then done. So this is done, right? So why I need to know what means these layers to test or these things to test? Is it really required for me? What is the purpose of this one? I'll give you some example. Um, you wanted to build a house. We will be having all tapi mestris and all mestris. Everyone will be coming there. You shown him a land. If I given to that particular tapi mestri, he will come and then he will start constructing a wall here, and then he will construct a wall here, and like that. Will it be good? Or I call an architect, civil architect. So he will design me a particular structure. According to that particular structure, I'll give it to the contractor. The contractor will bring up other mestris, and then he will say that, hey boss, this is how we need to construct. Which one is better and which one is good? Which one will not have reworks? Obviously, if you follow the certain standards and approaches, planning before the things before you do, if you do this approach, then you will not have the things. Else in this one, they may not have the enough knowledge, so just they will be starting to create the things ahead, and then they'll go ahead. They do a lot of mistakes, a lot of reworks. We will demolish this one. They'll not have the proper foundation. I know that I'm trying to give you some stupid examples, but you will remember and then you can map it. So this is a layman examples if you given so that you can remember for a longer time. Now that's the reason you should understand what are the standards, what are the standard approaches which we need to do it. So which is called as SOPs. SOP means standard operating procedures. You need to follow these particular approaches so that you can give the good quality for the quality product to the market. That is most important, right? So why we are here? So I told you, right, the importance of testing. If some bug comes into the picture, we will not talk about the tester who tested that application. We will directly talk about the application or the CEO of the company. If Twitter is not working something, so we will directly talk about Parag. Or if something, if the Tesla is not working, we will talk directly about Elon Musk. Hey, he's a stupid guy, so he don't know how to test this vehicle. For an example, now there is a car met with an accident, which is an AI car, which it can, without having a driver, it can go ahead and it met with an accident. Then we will say that, hey, complete the car is bullshit, man. We shouldn't use this particular Tesla cars at all. There are 999 positive ways of looking at it, but one negative way will impact the complete company. One negative bug which it makes to fail, so that will completely drop that particular company, you know, right? So because of that particular issue, the car met with an accident and 2 people died because of that one. So because of that incident, the driverless cars are banned. AI cars are banned completely. In the complete means it was not released, else this need to be released before 4 years. Because of one mistake, because of one particular bug, it failed. Now the investments which he have been kept on the R&Ds, and there are, I told you, right, 909 positive reasons to use that, but one negative reason which it made to flop that particular product. That's it. So how we can get the complete quality of the product? So when you know about these particular standards, hey, what are the things I need to test? Where are the things I need to test it? And what are the different categories of testings I need to do it? So that is the basics which we need to learn fast. I told you, right, when you wanted to build a 10-floor building, so that building should have a stronger foundation, so that if you have the strong foundation here, so that you can create a very concrete building over here. If you imagine that there is no foundation, can the 10-store building withstand?
No.
Now, without understanding what are the things, and once again, I'm saying that if you wanted to become a good automation engineer, you should become a good manual tester. Then only you can become an automation engineer. What do you meant by automation? Whatever you do manually, that will be converted into the automation, means automatic procedures. That's it, right? Now you should know how to write the best test cases, so that test cases can be converted into the automation. So usually you do manually, but now you will be doing it with the automation. Example, I wanted to wash my clothes. So I means previously I used to put into the, means I'll soak into the water, and then I'll take that cloth and I'll wash that particular cloth, and then I'll put for the dry, so that I can feel, hey, this is clean, means need properly wash the clothes. Nowadays we have washing machine, so instead of washing that one, I just keep into that one with soaking of the water and rotating of that one, and then it will clean my clothes. See, whatever the manual efforts are there, that slowly converted into the automated process, in terms of saving the time, in terms of saving the efforts, so in terms of saving the resources, we have this all. So you need to understand this particular manual approaches thoroughly, then only automation is nothing, it's dumb. Whatever you say, hey, go bring this, you seen this Robo 2 movie, right? Rajnikant's Robo 1. It takes the instructions, it performs that instructions, that's it. It don't have its own intelligence to think about it. We do have latest tools, which is AI tools in the market, but that need to come, means it at least will take another 4 or 5 years to come into the picture. But at least you need to know what do you meant by the basic automation. So now here itself we will stop, will not go to the AI tools. So now when you wanted to know about this one, this automation, so how this automation works or how this automation does or the things, the basic thing is the manual testing. If you're not expertise in this area, definitely you'll be not expertise in this area. All people will give a less importance to the manual testing. If you go, that is where in the trainings, if you go for any institute or anything, hey, manual testing can be completed in 1 week. Automation will take more time. So here you need to know about Selenium and all. But frankly speaking, if you know manual testing exactly, learning a programming language and learning a tool I'm telling you, right, within 5 days you can learn Selenium. Only 5 days if you learn all these things. But if you don't know these things, you know Java, you know Selenium, you would be like a dubbing artist. Means you will not understand what to do. You would be like another machine. This guy will write all the test cases and he'll give it to you. What you will do was step number 1, open browser. Step number 2, enter username, password. Step number 3, login button, clicked, open, done. You'll say that, hey, I'm an automation engineer. I have been completed it. First, you need to understand one point. You are a quality gatekeeper. You are not a machine. When someone given the test cases, you need to first validate that whether it covers the 360 degrees of the testing or not. To convert this to have this manual test case converting into the automation, it is not really required for you now, because in the AI tools now, if you given a manual test case, it will generate me the scripts also now. Then why you here? Why you here? See, if someone given the test case, converting the test cases into the automation test cases, there are standard codes already available. Nothing you can do. Boss, I need to click, I need to send the text. Already direct started methods are there. Then what is the purpose of yours? Is it just like, boss, you go, you do this, come back, without thinking anything? Are we machines to do that? Not really. Not really. You need to understand the science. I'm telling you, right? Once again, if you wanted to become a good automation engineer, you should be an excellent manual tester. Everyone will have a low eye on the manual testing. But if you means manual testing, also the people thinks that, bus, this is a housewife's job, bus. So because testing is very easy, very simple, anyone can do it. Anyone is free. If someone don't have any job, easily they can go and do this one. These are perceptions. If a bug is there, none of the people will talk about a developer. None of the people will, means if the bug is in the production, who is the accountability person? Who takes the accountability and the responsibility is the tester. Because they will ask him only, hey, why didn't you tested this one? How can this bug goes to the production? That's a mistake of a developer. That's a mistake of a developer. But why you would be questioned? Because you are in that particular responsible position. And this is not like the people will see that, hey, this is very simple, very easy. Let them come and do it. Always you remember that if someone understands the importance of this particular job, they will never neglect and talk about it. And I have certain test cases, I write it and I test it, I give it back. That doesn't really make anything. I told you, right? If you sweep a room, you need to bet and challenge. Boss, you go and see. You can find any dirt in that room. That's my challenge. That's the way. If you tested an application, you need to challenge them. Boss, you go and search it. You will never ever get a bug when I tested it. So that's the confidence of a tester. And if there is no proper tester in the organization, that application would be utter flop in the market. If you have an excellent testers, so that application would be rated highly in the market. So that's the importance. And the testers are paid more than developers. I'm not joking. This is a fact. And the live example, I can show you live examples for this. But the passion, and I told you, right? So the testing should be in your DNA. That should be in your blood and your passion. Boss, you give me, I'll test it. Never ever the bug can be escaped from my clutches. So that's the confidence you need to give it. When you can get that confidence, how you can get that confidence? When you have this particular standard approaches. And this is not defined by me. This is defined by many experts, industry experts and SMEs. Hey, you follow this particular approaches, procedures. Now you tell me how the bug will go, or the bug will comes into the picture. You see, there is a movie, something, I don't know whether all you watched it. So there is a movie called Atadu. So the villain will say that, hey, I'll keep one sumo here. If he escapes, then I'll catch him here. If he escapes, I'll catch him here. If he escapes, I'll catch him here. Means that's the plan A, plan B, plan C. The same way, if a bug escapes from the unit testing, I'll catch it here. If it escapes here, I'll catch it here. If it escapes here, I'll catch it here. So that is how this particular layers will help us to identify the bug. To the tip of this one, we will test this application thoroughly, and then we will release into the market. So what are the different things we need to test it? What are the things we need to test it? Where are the things we need to test it? And how or which are the things we need to test it? So different type of testing, that would be our next topics. So that's the reason you need to know the standard procedures. See, now for an example, if I'm trying to cook something, it will take a lot of time for me, because I kept this boxes somewhere else, or I wanted to keep this masala somewhere else. I wanted to keep somewhere else the vessels. But if I keep everything, I know the procedure. Hey, all masalas will be here, and all vessels will be here, and all the things will be here. Now what I'll do, even without seeing that, I can drag it and then I can cook that. So if you follow these procedures, structures, it would be much more easier to identify the bugs. So that's the reason we should learn about this particular testing pyramid, levels of testing, methodologies, different types of testing, where to use what. For an example, I wanted to stitch a cloth. The cloth was broken. So the cloth was torn. Now what I need to stitch the cloth. Will you bring a knife to stitch that? No, you will use your needle to stitch. And you wanted to cut a fruit, or you wanted to go for a war, you will be using a sword. Will you use needle? No. You need to understand one thing. Importance of a needle, when it is required, it should be there. And importance of a sword, when it required, you should have it. And when you wanted to cut a fruit, you should have a kitchen knife. So where we wanted to use what, you should know about it. You shouldn't change that. You shouldn't bring a war sword to cut an apple. Or when you're going for a war, you shouldn't go and take a needle and then go for a war. So whatever the things are required at the given situation, so you need to use it. So that is where you should understand that what are the different type of testings which I need to use it at the different layers, which it can help us to do it. So these are the things which you need to learn. Hey, someone is coming, if someone is coming and asking, hey, I need to stitch my clothes. Hey, then you use this needle. And when you wanted to use going for a war and then fight, then use this sword. So this is how you need to know what are the things which we need to do it. When I wanted to open a nut, a bolt, I need to have some spanner. I don't need to have the screwdriver. When I wanted to open a screw, then I need to have a screwdriver. See, everything will have their own respective tools to do it. Same way, every layer should have their own respective different category of testings which it need to perform. Okay, so why I'm telling you this, because everyone will think that, hey, I came for the automation, but apart from the automation, why these guys are spending the time on this one? You understand this pointer very clearly. Automation testing doesn't know anything. It's dumb. It's just giving an instructions and getting executed. But what instructions you need to give, how the instructions you should give, you tell me. You wanted to be a self-independent, or you wanted to be a dependent? Always we wanted to be have a dependent. Now when you wanted to independent, you should know how to do the things. If you don't know how to do, what you will do? You always will wait for someone else who can support you, help you. Example, you think that, hey, my team lead need to come and then give me the information, what to test, how to give the estimations, how to give the test plan. Why your team need to do it? Why can't you do it? Because you don't know. That is what you are here to learn, right? And do you think that your team lead knows everything? Even he don't know, but he should act before you. Hey, go, you test this, you come this. If we ask them, hey, boss, you are saying that you tested this application. What is a percentage, or what is a quality you can derive me from this? You are testing. Can you prove me that what you have been tested? Many of the engineers, because my team size is 45, I used to maintain in one company 45, in another company 32, in another company I have 65. I work with multiple companies, okay, as a consultant and all the things. Now you tell me, with all these people, so how many people every day I used to interact? When I'm talking to the leads and when I'm talking to the people, I clearly understand this particular gap. Probably they will be having 10 years, 11 years of experiences. I'm not, by the way, I'm not degrading it. I'm just saying that there is a gap which we need to fill ourselves. You tell me, who is the best judge of yours? Who can judge you best? Yourself, right? Now you need to understand what are the gaps you have and try to fill it up. Rather than someone is coming and saying that, hey boss, there is a gap for you here. You fill it. You fill it. No. First you identify your gaps and you can fill that. So this is really a very important things when you go for a testing, real-time testing. When you're given an application, you need to think that, hey, what are the levels of testing I need to use it? Hey, what are the layers of testing I should use it? What are the methodologies I should use it? What are the different type of testings I need to use it? If your mind start to think about on all these four structures, then you are a real tester, a quality engineer. The name, see, the name itself, the role itself, we talk about quality engineer. You define the things, boss, you do this, you do this. Then these instructions will be given to the automation so that it can be created that way. This is how the quality would be improved. Not by the automation, the quality would be improved. Always you remember this one. How the quality would be increased, or how the quality would be means more effective and efficient. Effective would be with the manual testing, the manual approaches, and efficient would be helping from the automation. Means whatever the manual test cases you have written, it will convert into this automatic. Guys, I have the distraction, so can people go on mute, please? Team, can you people go on mute? Okay, so now if you see here, the automation will reduce the time and automation will execute multiple times without having the mundane. So that is how the automation will help us. Okay, so coming back, see now what is my last 34 minutes, what I tried to say is, why should I learn methodologies, levels, and parameter? Why? So this answer I have been given you now all this time. What, where, and what is the thing which we are discussing now, and how is what we are going to discuss tomorrow with a different type of testings. You see how these all things are interconnected. Don't worry, at the end of the day, I'll connect all these particular things. Okay, testing methodologies, levels, pyramid, and different type of testings, how it is interconnected with everyone, which is the bigger, or which is the bigger scope, and what all things we need to drag it back. Okay, so now as part of this one, so now we understood that, hey, testing pyramid will talk about what are the things I need to test it for an application. Now in this one, so we have been discussed about the units. Say units will be done with the help of developers. The developers will test this one. Now what the thing, the basic purpose of this one is, hey, they write the code. This is an immediate verification of that particular code. Hey, I written a code, and whether this particular code would be working fine or not. That immediate checks or checking that particular unit is called unit testing. And this, the purpose of this one is fixing that issue at the given point of time, because this issue will not cascade. Cascade means not go to the next level. So what are the different type of testings we perform? Here also we will perform only the unit testing, and unit testing will be done by only developers. Now next one is a backend or the APIs. So hope you remember on that day I given you an example of MMT, make my trip. So the make my trip will have different endpoints. We will be having it. So now make my trip, for an example, now this is for Indigo, SpiceJet, and Vijut. So now the make my trip, what it will do is, if I given the destination and the date and time, this will send a request to all these particular airlines and get that particular response, and they will present that particular response in the MMT. So that's the reason they charge the conveyances charges and all the things, blah blah blah. They take the extra charges on this one ticket. So if you directly go and buy that particular ticket, for example, if it is 1,000 rupees, here you need to pay 1,400 rupees for this one. So 400 rupees is the conveyance charges they will charge for the make my trip. So this is how the people will start to earn, because just what they have, these guys have been done, just they exchange the data, exchange the information. By this they will be getting it. So there is a dialogue, right? Information is wealth. So you should know that information. So consolidated information, you wanted to see it. So that's the business of MMT. You think, what is the business of MMT? Make my trip. So just for an example, there are multiple hotels in that particular place. They will get all those hotels information and then they will present to us. And we will pay for the hotel. They take the commission and they will pay the remaining amount to the hotel. That's it, right? Directly, why can't we get a hotel there? We don't know what is the review of that particular hotel, what is the cost of that hotel, what is the comfort, photographs, videographs, all these things will be not there. So that is the reason MMT helps, that it provided a platform for the customer and then the tourism. That's it. They don't online businesses are. Now they requested and they get that particular responses and then they will proceed further, right? So now those are the things which it is come from the backend APIs. So it requests, get the responses back. Till now I didn't go for the UI. So once you got the response, then I'll present it into the UI. But when you're requesting, if you requested wrong, or when you requested and get the response, see, I went to hotel, I asked for one set of puri, then that guy given me idli. I asked for puri, then he given me idli. Then that's a issue. That's a bug, right? So I need to fix up this itself. I don't even go for UI, because now whatever the data I have it, I'll be presenting in the UI. Now I got an issue here, same that issue will be presented in the UI. See, now whatever the information I will be getting as a response of this, I'll be presenting that in the front end UI layer. If I get the wrong information, I'll present the wrong information here. So where you need to fix the bug? First of all, when we have this particular bug, the unit testing is not properly done. So when I requested for something, that request need to give me the same response. See, for example, he might test it. See, I requested for idli, I get the idli. But when I requested puri, but also I'm getting idli. So now this is a bug. So we need to test it with the different factors. The unit means the developer will say that, boss, I tested my unit. My unit is passed here. You need to test it in the backend. So here you'll be having multiple test datas. See, first time I'll be testing with idli. Second time I'll test with puri. Third time I'll be testing with masala dosa. I'll test with the different combinations and I'll see the responses I'll be getting it. So if I'm getting the proper response, then that would be fine, so that I can push to the next layer. So then I'll be tested in the backend layer. Now UI layer is nothing but whatever the things which we are seeing it with our naked eye, the presentation layer. So the presentation layer which you are seeing it with your naked eye and you're testing, so that is called your the UI layer. So graphic user interface. So now here you'll be having the web and mobile applications, Swiggy, Ola, whatever the mobile apps you are using it, all those things are mobile applications. Example, you see it now, WhatsApp. So mostly everyone in this group probably using the WhatsApp, right? Now there are two people. So one of my friend, I need to send her the message and she would be replying me back with the message. Okay, so I send hi, and if this hi shouldn't go to her and it went to another person, will it be okay? So that is not okay, right? So now actually the problem is the API, the endpoint, or the backend services which we have been written, that need to go to the respective user only. If it is going for other user, then that is a problem. So the problem which it happened here, that results into the UI also. So that's the reason, fill up all those particular issues as much as possible in the backend itself. And coming to the front end, as you know that we discussed this one, front end, back end. Okay, front end technologies are different, back end technologies are different. Front end means whatever we see with your naked eye. So now if you go here, if you go for any particular applications, so now whatever the things which you are trying to see on your page, so these all things are the front ends. Now you can see it on this particular, all things are the things which you have been seen. Now for developing of this one, there are tools and technologies are different. Like we do use HTML, CSS 5, 3 and 5 is the latest one. So HTML5, CSS 3, and nowadays we do have React.js, Vue.js, Angular applications. So like this, we do have different technologies to develop the front end web pages. Now backend would be there. So now this is how I'll be doing it with the front end technologies are different. I told you, right? We will be using the HTML, CSS, and then nowadays we have React.js, Vue.js, and we do have Angular application, Angular. So these all things we'll be using it. Now backend. Now backend, all these things I need to develop, right? There are different architectures. Architecture means someone will build villa, someone will build duplex house with a garden, someone will build normal house. So that is called architecture, right? Now the backend also will have different architectures, monoliths, microservices. Don't worry, what are these new terminologies and these things? Don't worry. So at least you need to know that there are different ways in the backend. Now these things, this is an architecture, and this can be done with the different programming languages. Hey, this can be done it in Java, Python, C#, or PHP, whatever the languages, they'll be doing it. Now you need to test, because as this is technologies and everything is different, so you need to test this layer separately, and backend layers is separate. So now you need to test this one separately. And if there is some data transition is wrong to the front end, even this also need to test it. Means you need to understand that you need to test the front end separately, back end separately, and any integration between the front end and back end, even that integration also you need to test it. So did you got it? So why I'm saying all these things, because you should understand how the applications would be working on. So how the structure would be there. So you need to test the front end, you need to test the back end, and you need to test the integration between the front end and the back end also. So that is how you need to do the testing. So now if you see in the second layer, which is the API layer, so in the API layer, so we will be testing the complete backend. So which I'm talking here. Hey, you need to test all this backend, and then you will go to the front end. Now you will be going to this particular front end testing, and then the integration between these both also you'll be testing it. You need to understand why I'm stressing this integration. Now you understood, right, how this integration comes into the picture. Later on, when I was trying to map this one, I'll let you know. Okay, even for the mobiles UI, so the mobile app will be there. So as soon as you log in, so immediately it will not do anything. I told you, right? If it is a login page, you need to have your username, password, and login button. As soon as you enter your username, enter your password, click the login button. What the action of this login button will do is, the code which will be written is, hey, read the username, read the password, and then go to the DB and check whether this particular username password is there. If both things are matched, then log in and go to the home page. If anything is not matched, then come back and then respond, say that, hey, your username is wrong or password is wrong. So that is what you are going to show it to that one. So that is what you are presenting it over there. So what the point you need to understand is, backend would be tested separately, and then front end would be tested separately, and integration of the backend and front end should be tested, so that we can identify the different categories of bugs over here. I'll just give a pause over here for a minute, because I'm continuously talking. Any questions here till the web UI or mobile UI or backend or the units, or why the testing pyramid is required? So the answer, as of now, what we have been done is, why we require to know all these SOPs. SOP means this levels of testing or the pyramid. and what is the purpose or the importance of this one. And secondly, we have been started to discuss on units and the back end and then the front end. Any questions still here?
So what type of testing will do in API, sir?
I'll let you know. So because I didn't completed that particular part here, I'll keep you posted. What are the different type of testings we need to do? I'll let you know.
So there are various tools for each category of right?
Yes,
We call
there
it
will be a
security is
different
having
different
its
tools.
own tools, performance is having its own tools. Yeah. So basically, in order to become excellent manual testers, we have to be knowing all the tools across all these levels, right? Sir?
Okay, I'll ask you one question. So actually, I missed your name. Sorry, what's your name?
Ashwin.
Ashwin. See, Ashwin, I'll ask you one question. Do you know driving? Car driving or vehicle? Any bike driving?
Yes, sir.
Anything? Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
Yes.
we will talk about one bike driving. By this itself, you can understand the example, but still, I'll give it to you. You know very well to drive Karishma. Will it be a problem to drive a
Okay.
bullet? You know to drive bullet Karishma. Is
Not
it
much.
a problem with to drive with Yamaha YBX? Because these are my generation bikes. I don't know what's the latest
No.
bikes. So what I'm trying to say is, if
Like
you
it will
know,
not be a much problem.
yeah, see now you've given the answer. If you know one tool, how it works, will it be a problem to drive? Will it be a problem to know another tool? Absolutely not. You believe it or not, you know Selenium well. Learning other tools, we do have multiple. See, every layer will have a different set of tools. I told you right now. If you go for this part, means every layer unit will have the unit testing tools. Backend will have backend testing tools. All these tools. I just wanted to show you one particular quick matrix so that it can be helpful for you. If you know one particular tool, learning the another tool would be not a big deal at all. It would be very simple and very easy to learn. I just wanted to bring out to you one particular slider which gives you the complete information. Just give me 1 second. Um, this one, tech presentation might be required. Um, this might be here itself. Okay, so I'm not able to get that particular slider. What exactly that will have is it will have the complete set of tools. What layer, what we need to test it. What are the tools we will be having it. See, usually what we do is we will take the complete tools and then we will validate with each and every tool. Example, you see it. This is for API testing, API automation. How we need to test it with our SDLC or STLC, and what are the tools available in the market. If I wanted to test the API layer, if I wanted to test this particular API layer, so these all the set of tools that we have.
Sir, if you're speaking, we cannot hear you.
Yes, sir. Not audible.